Hey there, this is Matt once again. What about to the video? This is another paid request, this time for Edward. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box, pretty much under any of these videos. It'll be right below the video. Now, Edward wanted me to talk about two more South Park episodes from season 11, episodes 10 and 11, which is the first two parts of the Imaginationland trilogy, which I had heard about this, but I did not know much about it. I know that Aragorn Skywalker, when I did the video for him, he mentioned these episodes, but I wasn't that familiar with these. Are the first time I've seen these. And of the first two parts, I would say I like the first part a lot more than the second, although the second does have a few decent bits in it. Pretty much the story is Cartman is trying to prove the leprechauns are real, and he made a bet with Kyle saying, if I prove that they're real, you gotta suck my balls. And put it on a document. Kyle, of course, signed it, because who would ever believe in leprechauns, but they do find one. He disappears, but before he warns that Imaginationland, there's going to be a terrorist attack. So one thing leads to another. There's this guy, who has this flying machine. I don't want to take you to Imaginationland. I will say the first genuine laugh was from Butters, which I guess in a weird way made sense because Butters has become my favorite character in the show. And like the first thing he says, which was surprising to come out of his mouth, is, "Are you going to rape us?" And just the dumbfoundedness of the guy's like, "What? No, what? I think he's going to rape us." Just, I didn't expect Butters to say that with what type of character he is, but I guess when he's a type of character for so long, when he says something a bit more surprising from his mouth, it makes it that much funnier. I guess you looked at the guy and his outfit and wanted to take all these little kids on his flying machine. I guess I can't blame Butters for thinking that. But they get to Imaginationland, and they're able to get away with some visual references. Orko from He-Man. The black guy from Song of the South. The Count Chocula. Strawberry Shortcake, Care Bear, among others. And when they get there, there happens to be a terrorist attack. And I thought this was a nice idea. They do play that off fairly seriously. And the fact that it's these characters like Ronald McDonald losing an arm, and then Stan loses his hearing. It's like something I would see out of Children of Men. Those type of like intense attack sequences, but it's done in this crazy fantasy format. And they're able to escape thanks to Draco from, I guess, Dragon Heart. I'm surprised it wasn't the one from Neverending Story, Falcor. I think that would have made, I don't know. Maybe they didn't know or didn't care, but hey, Draco. Someone trying to do their Sean Connery impersonation. But Butters is left behind. Then the other kids wake up. They think they were having a dream, but they realize they had the same dream. Cartman was now alone for that ride. He was too busy trying to get Kyle to suck his balls. And that's really the whole gig for Cartman, is trailing him all the time. Come on, suck my balls, suck my balls. I will admit, when it got to the episode 11, the second part of this, it got old real quick. I get it. It's funny for Cartman to say, suck my balls, and trying to get Kyle to suck his balls. But it's just, you just say that maybe first, second times. When it gets to 85th time, it just gets tiresome. I thought that was just it was a running gag that got old real quick. At least in my opinion. Just got old real quick for me. So I would say I didn't really care a whole lot for that subplot. But the whole stuff with the Imaginationland, there was some fun stuff to that. For example, the Pentagon, the military find out that this is going on. And so they try to get ideas from directors. So they did like M. Night Shyamalan, but the only thing he'd come up is twists. And they go, that's not an idea, it's a twist. They did Michael Bay. Sorry. Of course, as soon as I say Michael Bay, I burp, so I guess that says a lot. Although, to be honest, I liked a lot of Michael Bay movies. It's just, producing wise, like the Ninja Turtles 2014 shitfest. That's another story. But just Michael Bay doing, pew, 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 pew. Michael Bay, those are not ideas, those are special effects. Is that the same thing? No, no, it's not. That's all I know. Yeah, we know Michael Bay. And then they did Mel Gibson. And as they put it, he might be this and that, but he knows his stories. So in a weird way, they're trying to give a compliment to Mel Gibson. No matter how people call him Mad Mel and such, he is a good storyteller. Braveheart, Hacksaw Ridge, among others. So, in a way, I mean, in their weird way, it kind of interesting they gave Mel Gibson props, at least for that. Like, no matter what you say, he is a good director. Pretty good storyteller. Butters is left behind. The terrorists. This is kind of a black humor type of thing where they take this rocket that's alive and they use him to break the barrier between good and evil, and the evil is coming to them. Just the fact the rocket is like, no, don't leave, stop using, leave me alone, and they're using the rocket as a battering ram. I felt bad for that guy. And it leaves on a nice little cliffhanger to get you intrigued with the second episode. So again, maybe the first episode, if it was Cartman, okay, going on about this sucking of the balls, okay, but the other stuff were a bit more interesting. Like the it's definitely ambitious, and you could tell like the animation, they try to be a bit more crisper in the animation. I guess maybe one thought was this was going to be another movie, but it became 3 episodes. But you tell that the animation is a little bit more crisp, a little bit more ambitious. Again, like the explosion and Stan's ears are ringing and he can't hear, and the camera, quote unquote, is kind of shaking like you were seeing Children, Men, and other stuff. So they try to do something. It's nice when they try to do something a little bit outside of the box in terms of production. Like I said, the directors are Michael Bay and M. Night. That was a fun gag. Butters kind of being a focal point for Imaginationland. I thought that was a nice choice. The Butters, are you going to rape us? The way he said that I thought was pretty funny. Now, episode 11, I liked it a little bit less so. Of course, it takes place after the previous episode. The barriers open. It's cool to see references to Freddy Krueger, Xenomorph, Predator, Jason Voorhees, all sorts of villains. That's cool. Cartman has this weird dream. I don't know, it's trying to be like David Lynch type of dream. Where he goes up the tile and tile turns and his mouth is either, I think, sewed shut or gone or whatever. And then Cartman, oh, my balls feel like they're going to explode, and puff. Ah. That was a little bit funny. Like how they try to, the way they visualize that dream, they make it very surreal. I did enjoy them doing something a bit different with that. And then chunk of it is like a Stargate parody where the military opens up a portal and they get all these military guys and they get Kurt Russell. And Kurt Russell's like, why am I here? Well, you're in that movie, and it's kind of like this. I mean, at least they don't make fun of Kurt Russell. He's just there to die. But they don't really make fun of him. So at least there's that. But when he gets with the team dies, you just hear what's supposed to be Kurt Russell going, the woodland creatures, they're raping me, ah. Because of the villains, you also have, there's an episode, a Christmas episode, with the woodland creatures, like, a deer and all these two critters, but they're evil satanic cult type. They come back in this because they're in the imagination of a little kid. Because I think in that episode it was what, Cartman? I think it was a story Cartman made up. And Kyle gets pissed at the end. But I guess the final way to bring those back here. I mean, come on, you didn't have to kill off Kurt Russell, but it is what it is. Cartman's journey to get Kyle to suck his balls, like I say, got tiresome after a bit. Because they go to court, and the judge says you have to do it in 24 hours or you'll be arrested. And then Stan and Kyle are taken to the military, and Cartman's pissed, and he goes on the journey. Well, actually, that might have been the episode before, and that's how it ended, because Cartman was on the way there. But here, Cartman gets there, and gets into the military, and I have a court order. They go into a private room, and Kyle's trying to explain, look, do you know how serious what's going on? Cartman doesn't care. And if it did it for you and did it for others, that's fine. It just didn't do anything for me. It just felt, it was a running gag. It was a running joke that I think outworn its welcome pretty quickly. There's really nothing else to it other than just repeating the same thing over and over again. The one bit that was funny, and it's really the one bit of the episode I liked, and I'll get to that, because you have Butters, he's trapped over there, you got Snarf from Thundercats, you have this lollipop guy, they watch Strawberry Shortcake get completely fucked over, Butters is taken to the Council of the Nine. So now Aragorn Skywalker's story makes a bit more sense, because, again, I get the reference now. The Council of Nine includes like Luke Skywalker, Popeye, Zeus, Morpheus, Jesus. So I find it interesting that Jesus is in the imaginary world. I wonder if some people got pissed about that. Plus, how many times you don't have Jesus with Popeye? Besides, they don't do much. I mean, I like Popeye. I miss Popeye. I remember watching the Popeye cartoons when I was a kid. Sadly, that's something they don't do anything with. There's supposed to be some 3D animated film years ago that got abandoned. I don't know why. I heard, but then I heard it was untrue. That was because they want to do that damn emoji movie instead. But then I heard, no, that's not true. They were not going to go and do it either way or anyway. I don't know. If anyone has info, feel free to let me know in the comments. It's just that this was... It felt... You know what it is? It felt like a filler episode between first and third. Meaning... Not all trilogies do this, but a lot of trilogies get in this. Like Empire Strikes Back did a good job with it. And other movies. But a lot of times in trilogies... Actually, you know, another thing about it, like Back to the Future Part 2 I really enjoy. Matches Reloaded I actually enjoy, so... I guess what I'm saying is, you can get into the habit. It can be easy to get into how... You know how it begins, you know how it ends, you gotta come up with a journey along the way. So we get to the middle section, it can feel like either a bit of filler. I think maybe like more TV than films. You did get into that. Well, okay, there's some information, the Council of the Nine, among others, but you know, it's just, hey, let's put some Stargate stuff in here. Let's put Strawberry Shortcake getting fucked up. Let's put... Then the one thing I liked is by the end of the episode, Stan's been sucked in to the portal. Kyle dies, and then Cartman gives him CPR. Of course, he gives him CPR not to save him, so he can suck on the balls. That's what I mean, at least this was done a bit more clever, because they do a take on the Abyss, and I'm a big fan of the Abyss. So I never thought I'd see the Abyss referenced like this on South Park, but I really did enjoy that reference. You never give up on anything in your life. Now fight, fight, Fight! So that was my favorite part of the episode was the reference to the abyss. I thought that was, I didn't, like I said, I didn't see that coming, and I'm like, wait, but it worked. It worked really well with Cartman and the whole within the story. So I did like that bit. So that did make me chuckle for a bit. So I do think the first part is a bit stronger, a bit funnier, a bit more consistent. The second part, served its purpose to string the first and third parts together. Like I said, nice to see the references to horror villains. I think some of them they could have done more, but I just didn't have time. I probably would have preferred more references to those creatures and villains in the Imagination Land. I probably would prefer that than the Stargate reference. I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I don't mind Stargate the movie. I like it. I'm just not in love with I'm not in love with it like other people. I like the movie because of Kurt Russell and James Spader, but it's not one of my favorites. But if it is one of your favorites, but yeah, I don't know how you'll like Kurt Russell get fucking raped off screen and killed off screen. But I mean, it's not actual Kurt Russell, folks. It's a cartoon. And it seems like Butters is going to be shaped up to be the big hero in the third, which is cool because I like Butters. Like to see him get some shine, some love. You could tell that the Trey Parker Matts don't really like the Butters character with how he gets utilized a lot. And after the initial episodes, he's one of those characters that really got created and bumped up quite a bit throughout the years to the point he's become one of the main characters. It was become my favorite character. So nice to see Butters get some love and be seems like the hero. He's the T. And it says Morpheus is part of this. Butters says, "Can I not be the T, Morpheus?" But too bad, so sad. So overall, fun. I appreciate the ambition, the references, the fun. I thought it worked within the story for the most part in this series of episodes. So it was fun. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later.